Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Smigielska. I will be presenting a short paper called Proteus 3.0, Interacting with the Cloud. The project was conducted as a duo together with Pierre Cutellic, who is unfortunately not here today with us, but he's very supportive remotely. We are both architects and researchers currently working at ETH Zürich. Our individual research interests differ from perspective of how we use technologies in architecture. Pierre is more focused on architectural modeling, while I am more focused on architectural production. However, together we meet in Proteus project to look into how we can meaningfully interact with matter. So Proteus project employs a complex behavior of ferrofluid material that which constantly changes its shape through application of magnetic field. Just like a Greek god Proteus, we go to Greek mythology to find some references. Proteus was a god of water who was constantly changing its shape in order to avoid answering questions about future prophecies of people inquiries. So we follow this line of thought, and just like this Greek mythology, we figure that we take a ferrofluid as an instrument to trigger visual imagination. Proteus project, therefore, to follow its fate of changing fate, is a series of several interactive media installations which were conducted since 2018, and since then it has iteratively evolved with varied ferrofluid displays, varied modes of magnetic activations, and most importantly with varied modes of interactions. Today I will be presenting the last version of the project, Proteus 3, from 2021. This was a project which we have done during Intelligent Museum residency between ZKM Karlsruhe and the Deutsches Museum Nuremberg. And the project basically took several significant turns comparing to the former iterations. The first turn was a scale up from object size display towards an architectural scale or architectural significance. The second one is related to shift from the physical material towards its digital emulation. And the third one, which is a consequence of two former ones, is about shifting from intimate interaction towards a collective one. So shifting from working with physiological data towards a behavioral data. And starting with the first one, to build a physical installation, we took an oculus as an architectural reference. An oculus was intensely used in Renaissance and Baroque by piercing the thick layers of the walls or ceilings in order to let the outer world or the nature into the building. And we use this metaphor in our project in a similar way to invite the visitors to observe a constantly changing flow of material images. In order to generate the ferrofluid image, we had several options. Unfortunately, some of them were limiting in terms of scalability. For example, in one of our former experiments, we have collected plenty of data, plenty of photographs of dancing ferrofluid in a petri dish. However, the size of the images was limited. On the other hand side, we also needed to give up on the simulation of the physical behavior, which is done at the KAUST Visual Computing Center, for the reason that this simulation is not yet applicable for real-time applications. So we basically decided to go for a simulation of visual behavior with the Gray-Scott model of reaction diffusion, which is both generative, scalable, as well as work very well real-time with a simple shader. can I go back? One slide. Yes, so we basically crafted the we crafted the image of the ferroflow of the reaction diffusion by mimicking the petri dish, by mimicking two materials that are interacting with one another. We composed several images together in order to create the three-dimensionality and certain depth of the image. And we also modified the shape of the petri dish itself. As you can see, it's an oval. An oval is again a reference to Baroque. And what is interesting for us in this particular shape is that it contains two centers. And those two centers are very important in the way we think about Proteus, because we actually think of a symbiotic relation between human and machine intelligences that we compose in this project. Just a second. Why we want to compose human and machine intelligences in this project? We basically think that AI could be a catalyst to understand better human behavior during the interaction, and as such make it a bit more meaningful. But the question of how to make an interaction more meaningful is very wide, and there are perhaps plenty of answers that one can give. For us, what's important is that we see an interaction as a conversation more than, for example, like a quiz. And we take as a reference a conversation theory of Gordon Pask, who is describing interaction as a dynamic process that is open-ended, where both ends learn from each other and evolve together. So our goal in this project, not only in this iteration, but at large in all the Proteus series, is to go a bit further with interaction that is not based on implicit principles, on clear instructions that are promoting immediate engagement. We really rather see it as a conversation, as a mental act, rather than just a behavioral act. So we try to facilitate the evolution of the generation of the image and also of the interaction by using a reinforcement learning model. A custom one, which we have, which is based on observations that we have collected during the exhibition. 8 months of the exhibition during Biomedia at ZKM in 2021. So we were collecting the data of the visitors. We mostly used skeleton and face data, head poses actually. And in general, we kind of launched the interaction by describing 5 different, let's say, interaction scenarios. Those interaction scenarios are composed of both different material, let's say, compositions, as well as different human, let's say, behaviors. And this we take as a starting point, as a seeding point to jumpstart basically the learning process in order to collect more and more data, more and more information for training of our reinforcement, our model. So the skeleton data were collected with a Kinect camera installed in the frame. We were able to collect data from 6 persons at the same time, and basically the overall system works in a loop. It needs to work in a loop if we want to constantly learn and constantly evolve. So it works in a loop of observations and adaptations. As mentioned before, we jumpstart with 5 initial interaction scenarios, but our goal is to diffuse them and go beyond categories and predefined behavioral models to be able to react in a more, let's say, individualized or personalized fashion. As such, we hope to increase not only the engagement time, but also engagement quality in the audience during interaction. So what's next? Basically, what we would like to do is to, of course, see how the installation behaves in other architectural contexts, other exhibition spaces, As well as, of course, we want to extend our family of different Protei projects. So we are currently working on a more spatial installation for Science Center in Warsaw, where we focus more, again, on another, let's say, architectural reference of a portal. And we are also very happy to be part of EMAP EMARE residency program this year. We will be working with Container in Croatia, where we will be looking more into distributed web-based interaction, also focused on a slightly different data resolution that we can get. So through the web, we have access to much more detailed information about the face. So we will be looking at the gaze as well as emotion recognition. So this is my last slide. We are happy to answer your questions. I'm happy to answer your questions right now if there is still some time. But if not, we are both happy to answer your questions via email, via Instagram, or any other way that is convenient for you. Thanks for your time, and yeah, have a good...
Merci.